Welcome back or welcome to the channel, and I don't know, either ways works. Anyway, last video I talked about Arsenal and how they're on their up, and yeah, basically it was a lot of football talk, but this time it's a little more different. I mean, it is a different sport altogether. I'm talking about basketball, and I'm specifically talking about the new Redeem Team documentary which came out on Netflix recently, which was about the US winning the gold medal in the 2K8 Olympics. And not gonna lie, this was a banger. This was a straight 8.5 out of 10 documentary for me at least. This one was going to be close to heart because this was just a few years before I started watching the NBA. The first proper season I remember watching was 11-12 when the Miami Heat won it, and Braun, Wade, and Bosch were that. In my head, that was like, wow, this is the greatest combination of players ever, because I was playing a lot of 2K11 back then. Shout out to the Jordan Challenge. So I mean, yeah, it was just a nice little throwback documentary, and obviously it's always nice to watch these guys, and especially watch Kobe, rest in peace. So why this documentary is special is because it's not about a particular team or about a star or anything like that. It's about the US national basketball team. And basically some teams are like, you take them for granted, right? They're supposed to win things. Like Man City are supposed to win the Premier League. India are supposed to win every cricket tournament that they participate in. So USA basketball is supposed to win everything when it comes to basketball, right? But obviously it doesn't work like that. The game evolves, and I feel like this documentary did an exceptional job in portraying the previous disappointments that the USA basketball had after a great period. They talk about the 1972 Munich Olympics, where they essentially got cheated out of a gold medal, and the 2004 USA basketball team, who got absolutely shagged in the Olympics and just ended up winning bronze. Like, at the surface, this is why sports is so beautiful, right? Because on paper, if you look at the names in that team, your Marburys, your Allen Iversons, Allen, I just fucked up your name. I'm sorry, AI. And you got Tim Duncan, and then you got a very young, coming off the rookie season, Melo, Brown, and Wade. But like, you see these names, you're like, the USA basketball is still supposed to win gold, right? But that's not how teams work. You gotta build a team. Any sport, just names won't work. Ask the Brooklyn Nets. Oh, fuck. Anyway, this documentary, as I told, it does a great job of showing the disappointments too, and how the game has evolved into a world game. That's how we get to see a lot of European presence in the NBA nowadays, and arguably, say three out of the top five, debatably, are European players now. And this just shows how any game can evolve, and you can't just put it in a bracket and be like, yeah, go on, win things, because that's not how it's gonna work ever. So how to fix this and how they fixed this was just beautiful. Obviously, the appointment of Coach K was probably a great thing. I mean, it not probably, it was a great thing. Of course, they ended up winning stuff. But I really like the idea around Coach K making the concept of the USA basketball team into a national team, which is a project for multiple years. That is how you build success, and that's how a lot of European teams build their basketball success, making a national team like they make national teams for other sports. You can't just collect a bunch of talented individuals and expect them to go and win stuff without coaching, without team bonding, and that's what was probably happening before at the USA basketball team. There's like so many stories about the dream team, and people have been left out of the dream team, obviously. And the dream team were just this collection of individuals that were just too good for everybody else, but the game still hadn't evolved as much as it has now. So obviously they were able to win, right? I'm not saying any of these 2K8 teams might have beaten the dream team just purely out of tactics, but they would have given them a tougher run compared to what the dream team got at Barcelona in 92. But I really love the idea of a national team, the USA national team, because obviously it's a project for multiple years, as I said before, and that's what you need in order to succeed at such a high level, I guess. And one of the most touching moments in this documentary obviously comes when Coach K asks a bunch of people from the US military to come and address the players, speak to them, let them know what true patriotism is. And those few minutes of this movie were just absolutely, it was just next level beautiful. I really loved it, and the way they share what they're feeling, and it just touches your heart. And Dwayne Wade talks about it, that at that moment they really felt like they're playing for the US, and it's not just a bunch of talented individuals to add to their resume. They're doing this for their country, they're playing for their country, and that's just an absolutely beautiful thing that they had to add in this documentary, and it was really great. And that's beautiful coaching. All credit goes to Coach K. And another great talking point in this documentary obviously comes with the recruitment of a star into the USA national team, being Kobe being Bryant. And at this point, I mean, they do address in the documentary. At this point, Kobe was probably the most targeted person in the media because of what happened with Shaq leaving the Lakers, and potentially Kobe, just I don't know, snitching on Shaq and just publicly criticizing Shaq. And basically, you drive the number one away. Now you're the number one. So what do you do with the greatest franchise in basketball history? Are you winning things? Kobe was a winning thing. Shaq went away, and Shaq won another ring with the Miami Heat and Dwayne Wade. And Kobe, you can say Kobe was the best player on the planet by that time, but then Kobe still wasn't winning any championships. So and also, like, Kobe's media image was probably on an all-time low. He was getting targeted a lot. So for him to come back and play for the US, and how they talk about Kobe being a loner and not really much of a team player. He's just a great player, but he's not a great team player. And how Kobe integrates himself into the team, and how his teammates do an absolutely exceptional job of bringing him in and just adding Kobe's talents to this already stacked team with goats like LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and Carlos Boozer. I actually can't say that seriously. Anyway, just the way they all integrate each other into the team is absolutely beautiful. And another great thing about this is, which you do not find in a lot of sports, is two alpha dogs coming together and really bouncing off of each other instead of causing any friction. They do a great job of showing LeBron's relationship with Kobe, and how it was always an argument of who was better at that point of time, whether it was LeBron or Kobe. And you could go either ways with it, but those two really didn't let that argument get to them. Although I feel like a lot of other people would have let it get to them and like not spoken as much with each other. But it really seemed like on that team, Kobe and LeBron bonded the most with each other, because LeBron is this great character. He talks a lot, he makes jokes, he makes sure that everyone in the team is doing well, and we've been seeing it, and he's been doing it. And how LeBron makes his teammates better all the time. Kobe makes the team better, obviously, because Kobe is, give me the ball, I'll score and we'll win, right? And LeBron is more of a pass first guy, but he also scores. LeBron can do anything. At this point of time, LeBron was taking over the league, obviously, and Kobe was just doing Kobe things, I guess. But yeah, I really like the way how these two come together to, the ultimate goal was for them to win the USCA gold medal. And for that, I guess anything has to go, and like you just have to come together as a team. And I really like how they did that. So obviously, after all this, we come to the 2008 Olympics, the actual event. And in 2004, however, because of multiple international tensions, the USA basketball team didn't get to experience the I don't know, just they couldn't get to experience the whole event and the whole beauty of Olympics, which kind of sucks because the whole idea with the Olympics is you're around greatness. There's so many beautiful sports going on. There's so many goated athletes throughout the whole thing, and like you're not able to experience it because of security concerns, obviously, and that's why a lot of good players didn't go to the 2004 Olympics. But I feel like it was a blessing in disguise to this team because they needed to feel that hurt so that they could come back and play the exceptional basketball that they eventually did. And this time in the 2008 Olympics, how Kobe's popularity just overshadows the team sometimes. But then Kobe wants to make sure that the team is still together, and that's a really good part of the documentary, and how they are finally able to experience the Olympic atmosphere, and how they're able to see other athletes, US or not, but like they're going and seeing, I don't know, Michael Phelps do well, and they're seeing these multiple events and they're around greatness all the time, which just also help them build that camaraderie with each other, I guess. And then it was just a really nice thing for them, and I think that overall helped that team in order to bond more, and how they transferred each other's work ethic, and like how Kobe's work ethic, going to the gym while others were out, everybody looked at it and they were like, I know what, I'm gonna do this, maybe because the best basketball player in the world is doing this, maybe this will help me too. And how they all eventually got better. Now, obviously, we all knew what was going to happen because we've seen this. It's been a lot of years since it has happened. USA obviously won the gold, but it wasn't obviously a cakewalk because there were a lot of teams that were competing with them, especially two from Europe, Argentina and Spain. Manu Ginobili's Argentina and the Gasol brothers is Spain. Just a great collection of like basketball talent, even from Europe. So it was really nice to watch those throwback players go out and ball also, I guess. And at the end, obviously this team was really good, and the way Kobe closes out the game, and then he shushes the Spain national team, obviously in classic Kobe fashion. That is one of those, I don't know, Mamba moments, I guess. But yeah, it was just a nice little feeling that you get inside of watching these guys again, because I don't know, with players like Kobe, obviously, since he's passed, everyone has seen Kobe through these highlights and what he's spoken in interviews, or like whatever his skits are. And it's just nice to see another piece of work with which you can remember Kobe from, obviously. And yeah, so when you do things like these, right, the documentaries about past events, sport, or whatever, you're gonna draw comparisons, and obviously people try to draw comparisons of this with The Last Dance. And while that makes sense in terms of it being the same sport and all that, The Last Dance had a lot more episodes, obviously, and it was a whole series on its own. And I feel like this, it was very different because The Last Dance was like, okay, this is Michael Jordan, and this is his evolution with the Chicago Bulls. And we'll throw a few episodes here and there to talk about Phil Jackson or a Dennis Rodman or a Scottie Pippen. But it was a lot of this Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I feel like this is a lot more about USA basketball and your Kobe, your LeBron, because I feel like that should have been the original premise. Because don't get me wrong, I love The Last Dance because I don't know, they did a great job at showing how the Bulls evolved, and just the winning mentality that they had, especially how Jordan put the team on his back, and what people like Scotty went through, but still persevered and they're here. And they did a great job of addressing characters such as Dennis Rodman, and he's such a character, and for him to get integrated with that team, and just Phil Jackson, it's just things like these, it's really nice. But yeah, I feel like this leaves a more nostalgic feel to people, at least around my age, because this is about the time that we kind of started falling in love with the game, especially because see, I'm Indian, right? And like a lot of us get to watch games like really early in the morning. So sometimes like you could watch these games and then go to school and stuff like that. So you watch a few like important games. Obviously, you don't watch all the games, and it's just like I used to watch these guys play, but I didn't really feel that connect at the time. They were just like these amazing athletes who could like put the ball into the hoop. But then now you're getting to see the emotional side of these players. So yeah, overall this documentary, as I said before, is a proper 8.5 out of 10. And it was just a great way to depict how patriotism should be bought into sports. And although it's about winning, winning for your country is probably above anything else, and that's what even Kobe says, and that's what I believe. I think like national representation and winning with the nation is just absolutely beautiful, and that should come top of the pile despite everything else you might have achieved. Well, thanks for watching, and see you again next time, I guess.
That's Brian though. That's who he is, man. He just loves having a great time, laughing and joking.
You've been tricking me in fire.